Welcome to JWL Sports, where we review all the best sports clips from around the world. If this is your first time checking out a video, please do consider subscribing. We are building an amazing community here, and I would absolutely love to see you part of it. We're watching a clip of First Things First, talking about Baker Mayfield and the Patriots. Apparently there's some reports that, Baker may have some opportunities within the Patriots organization. This would be a fascinating move by the Patriots. And I'm not so sure they should make it, because this idea that all of a sudden Baker Mayfield is this great quarterback, he can ball out, and suddenly this, I'm not buying it. I'm really curious to see what they have to say. I got some strong thoughts about this one as per usual, but I'll see what they have to say first, and then we can break it down from there. Let's get into it.
We'll throw it to whoever wants to take it, because I thought it was...
Oh, because you were upset we didn't include Mac Jones. So I think there's a real argument to drafting Marvin Harrison Jr.
Let's go.
And
So really, and sign
if you can sign Baker, not if you can here's why. I would not consider doing anything if I were the Bears other than drafting Caleb Williams. But if you are the Patriots and you are very confident that the two teams ahead of you are both drafting quarterbacks, you are by definition getting the third choice at quarterback. Mm-hmm. And that is a risky history. You always talk about the draft being risky in general. Right. That is particularly risky. I don't have to go through all of the names, but in the last 25 years, there have been 16 drafts where there were three or more first-round quarterbacks. 4 of them, the third guy has worked out. Josh Allen was one, Justin Herbert, Deshaun, which is weird, he worked out, and Big Ben. What?
Those are 3. Those are all really good quarterbacks.
Right. But everybody else.
Right, but everybody else is Brew. Everybody else is Trey, Paxton Lynch, Tannehill, Gabbert, Freeman, Cutler, Bowler, Ramsey.
But what I would say, Nick, is how many guys that were third or lower worked out. We got a ton. What was Dak? I mean, he was a fourth rounder.
Fourth round.
Which was he, the 5th quarterback taken? I don't know, but I'm just saying we can go through a number of guys in that department. So. I think, look, I think signing Baker, who, again, I think he'll be back in Tampa, that's like you're ready to win now if you're New England. And I'm saying I think they got 2 teams ahead of them in their own division. That's not even including the Jets. We'll see if Aaron Rodgers can still play.
It's okay.
Right. But you know Miami and Buffalo are good. Then you got the rest of the AFC. If you go out and pay Baker big money, you're like, we're winning now rather than developing with your young coach and your young quarterback.
Or Wild, but could it just be we are trying to get back to a baseline of competence with our new coach and our players, and we're going to use the 3rd pick to draft probably of all the players in the draft, the one who has the best chance of being a Hall of Famer one day, and the one who has the lowest chance of busting. In Marvin Harrison Jr. You know what I mean? Like that. The flip side is that the third, drafting the third option at quarterback who might not even be the guy we're in love with, and locking us into at least 3 or 4 years of that guy, as opposed to somewhat of a maybe stopgap or maybe Baker,
So Nick does bring up an interesting point there. The Patriots, since they are essentially just drowning, right? They're pretty much seen as like a joke organization right now, right? Like literally firing who many perceived as the GOAT coach, and now having like a documentary release, which then just makes him look more foolish. Like the Patriots just do not look good as an organization right now, and they haven't been ever since Tom Brady left. And so that whole illusion of the Patriot way and how amazing the Patriots are and how everybody wants to play for them and how magical and prestigious they are, that has really popped, right? Lots of players aren't like, I want to play for the Patriots. That's where I want to be. I want to be up in New England. It's just not necessarily a thing. So getting a player like a Baker Mayfield can have the ability to kind of stabilize to a degree, but that's putting a lot of eggs in Baker Mayfield's basket that I don't think his basket's big enough to hold. He's only been able to show to be able to do that in one season in a weak division with Tampa Bay, okay? When there was no pressure when it was pretty much seen as universally across the league that, yeah, they're getting Baker because they need a quarterback. They need someone. And if they continue to lose, hey, whatever. Everyone's in the Caleb Williams sweepstakes. And they kind of won some games. They went on like a little bit of a run. But they're not a good team. He's not a good quarterback. He's a good quarterback. He's not a great quarterback. Okay? I'm not being a Baker Mayfield hater, but this idea that Baker Mayfield is now this amazing elite quarterback, which a lot of Tampa Bay fans want to believe, I'm sorry, that's just not true. Okay? He's just not good enough. And he's still not humble enough. He was still talking some trash in the playoffs, and it's like, bro, you haven't done anything. What do you think? He was outclassed. I mean, Jordan Love looked better than Baker Mayfield. Goff looked better than Baker Mayfield. Brock Purdy better than Baker Mayfield. CJ Stroud, Josh Allen. Every single playoff quarterback looked better than Baker Mayfield. He had one good playoff game against the Eagles, and the Eagles obviously were terrible. Terrible. Okay? And so many of those yards came after catch, and so many of those throws could have been intercepted on him. So that is an incredibly misleading game. And even Troy Aikman was like, I've never seen a team just give up and have the lack of effort like the Eagles are showing right now. So that is way more about the Eagles than about Baker Mayfield just being great. Okay? So no. So you bring him to the Patriots and say that he's going to stabilize the organization, maybe because he knows how to play quarterback, right? You can trust him. You know he's going to, look at the film. You know he's competent. You know he's not a spaz. You know he's good enough to be a quarterback. But things could go poorly very quickly, as we've seen consistently with Baker Mayfield. And now you're doing that with a rookie head coach and a defensive head coach. And when your offense is failing and your quarterback is failing, when you're a defensive head coach, it's very difficult to right the ship. That's what Bill Belichick had with Mac Jones and Bailey Zappi. We've seen this a lot of times with defensive head coaches, that when the quarterback play isn't great or stabilizing, it just gets real bad and you're just hanging on by a thread. Same thing with Mike Tomlin. Okay? Luckily, their defense, and also with some of the injuries around the league within their conference and division, they were able to make do and, get into the playoffs. So I reject that. And that is the risk of getting a quarterback, because now you're developing. But by getting a new quarterback, you do get some grace by the fans and the media. All right, we're getting a new quarterback. Let's see what he can do. We got to develop him. When you draft a quarterback, no one's expecting you to win the Super Bowl this next year. So I just don't know. If you had a great offensive head coach, right, then I could say, all right, right? If you somehow got Harbaugh there or something, and he said, all right, bring me Baker, then I could trust it. Then I could say, okay, he's got a vision. He's got a vision. He's got a plan. He's going to make moves. I don't trust that plan from a defensive head coach. I just don't. So I don't know where the longevity in that is. Do you really think you're winning a Super Bowl with Baker Mayfield? Because as I said, I just named all these quarterbacks who did not win a Super Bowl, who played better than him, and it wasn't enough to be the difference maker. Okay? I think Brock Purdy is a great quarterback. If Brock Purdy was 5% better than he was in the Super Bowl, they win the Super Bowl. It's just true. Seriously, that's all it took. If he was just 5% better, if he was just able to escape the rush just one more time, or just make a slightly better throw, or to slightly escape the pressure and rip off a 4-yard run for a first down, they win the game. They win the Super Bowl. He just needed to be 5% better. Baker Mayfield has consistently proven to not only not be that 5% better, but to be like the 5% in the opposite way, to be not good enough. He cannot elevate. Yeah, he's a good quarterback. He can play in the NFL. He can win you games. He can do some things that are pretty cool and pretty special. And that's what's misleading. You watch him dance around, you watch him do things, and you go, ooh, he got a little Patrick Mahomes in him. He's got some, some fire in him. I love it. Football, yeah, hurrah. And then you're like, he's not good enough. So why do you, it's, again, if you're the Patriots and you're trying to get your team back to winning in the playoffs, Baker Mayfield's going to be the guy leading the way? I don't see it.
Continues to bounce back and ascend and take a blue chipper receiver. I just think it's a reasonable argument.
No, I like it.
So you want
Did you see this video over the weekend?
what video was?
It was a little bit of a QB camp.
Oh, no.
You, what do you mean?
He's throwing no
Is
look.
that Mac Jones?
Yeah, that is Mac Jones. I don't know who you thought it was. Well, look at the footwork. The reason why I put
Well,
this
how
up,
many of these
how
videos-
quickly do we turn, like, you know what? We need to get Baker Mayfield. This is the same Baker Mayfield that had 6 touchdowns and 6 interceptions. It went 1-5 in Carolina, and everybody was ready to write him off, and they didn't believe in him. Why? Because he didn't have any weapons, and he had a lot of fluctuation at offensive coordinator. It's just like Mac Jones. Had a great college
Yeah,
career.
except one
when
guy
he gets some weapons and he gets some stability, all of a sudden, Baker's great. Baker's on first things first. You're wearing a Bake Show jersey.
Yeah.
Not ready to give up. If you don't give up on Baker Mayfield,
Don't
give up on Mac
so
Jones.
here's what you're saying. Keep Mac Jones and draft Marvin Harrison.
ooh,
That is
you don't want to
true.
tell Bills fans that.
I'm not a huge Mac Jones fan. Honestly, I don't really think about it all too much because the Patriots have been just such a cluster blank of an organization. But he does actually bring up an interesting point. And granted, you could make the case when you're looking at Mac Jones and point out some pretty glaring issues that he has. It says, all right, you know what? We're giving up on him because of X, Y, and Z. And that's valid. It is. He definitely also seems to have some personality issues. And I wouldn't be thrilled about moving forward with Mac Jones if he was my quarterback. But I'm also not thrilled about Baker Mayfield either, okay? Because Baker Mayfield also had weapons and a legit offensive coach in Cleveland and could not get the job done. He had an amazing run game, great defense, and some great offensive weapons, some receivers, OBJ, and he couldn't get it done, okay? So just because he played pretty good in Tampa for one season doesn't mean that all of a sudden you're just going to be able to bring him. How about this? And this will be my closing thought. If you put Baker Mayfield with the 49ers, they do not win the Super Bowl. They do not even make the Super Bowl. Okay? They lose to the Packers and they lose to the Detroit Lions. If that's the case, then you shouldn't be trying to acquire or pay a quarterback like Baker Mayfield that much money. Because that is, you're going to have to pay him now more than just what he got paid in Tampa. If the reports are true, he's going to get paid like a legit, true contract. How are you winning with that? I just don't see it. But those are just my thoughts. I would absolutely love to hear yours. I read every single comment. So if you think what I'm saying is the most ridiculous thing you've ever heard, please let me know in the comments below. If you think what I'm saying is the most amazing thing, then definitely please let me know. Either way, let's get into some discussions. Let's get into some fights. But ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We are building an amazing community here, and I would absolutely love to see you part of it. I'm going to build something that we all genuinely feel connected to. Something that we're really excited to be part of, and I think we're well on our way to doing it. And please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. It's one of the best ways to support me. It's free. It's nothing. All you do is just have to hit the thumbs up, and it really helps with the visibility and the algorithm, and I would greatly, greatly appreciate it. Thank you so much, and see you next time.